Game 6 of the Canada-Soviet Series, live from Moscow. Brought to you by Toronto Dominion Bank, the bank where people make the difference. By Gulf Oil Canada Limited, its dealers, agents, and distributors across Canada. By Carling O'Keefe, brewers of O'Keefe Ale and Old Vienna Lager Beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing extreme audio difficulties from Moscow. We are trying to get this problem remedied and rectified. In the meantime, CTV will continue with the video portion of the game. The score presently is Russia 2, Canada 1. The Canadian goal scored by Serge Bernier. The second goal for Russia scored by Vassiliev. That'll bring up to date with what's going on so far. The score, Russia 2, Canada 1. We are experiencing audio difficulties from Moscow. We are trying to get it rectified. In the meantime, we'll continue with the video portion of the game and hope you'll please stand by.
Dump pass to center right to Bernier, but it wouldn't get through. Here's Yakушев bumping in there along with Houle, and they start shoving. The six come up, but the referee, Dombrowski, comes over very quickly, takes a look, and he doesn't call any penalty.
Watch this Tretchik save. Bernier had the whole net. There's no way. And he should have missed it. That Tretchik shadowed that left leg unbelievably back. What a save.
Well, they're glad that we're able to finally get our audio lines connected through to Canada. And you can see what was happening, but we're sorry that the audio was not there for you. Here comes Frank Mahavlich racing down into the Soviet territory, trying to lay that pass out. It comes all the way back to the blue line, and back after it goes Howe. Back on the fence with J.C. Tremblay. Tremblay feeds it to the line and all the way out to center right. Back after it for the Soviets is number 32, Tюrин. Over to Gusef, and Gusef hooks it out to center right to Anison, number 22. Anison gets by Howe, and then it's hooked out here to Henderson with Mahavlich. Mahavlich trying to get by the line. Still has it. Puts it on his way to shoot. Oh, Paul Anderson stand on the puck that was bouncing. Here's his out to the blue line. Moscow taking down the left side. One man back. Right out in front. And then racing to Michalov. And the shot was blocked down there by the Canadian defense there as Tremblay comes roaring right back with Bruce McGregor. McGregor at the blue line. He puts the pass right over in front of the net. And the shot is blocked by the goalkeeper as McGregor is knocked down in front of the net. And Mальцев comes racing back on the left wing. Mальцев, number 10, shoots. Blocked by Jerry Cheevers, and he grabs it to hold on.
Developing into was just a great two-way, freewheeling, wide-open hockey game, Johnny. The Russians are getting the better break 2-on-1 and 3-on-2 and 1-on-1. Each candidate had more good scoring opportunities in the first period, and I think they had more last week.
On the shot, right by the goalpost, it comes over to Vassiliev. It's poke checked away from him by Paul Smear, but it's held in by Petrov. Petrov is bucked. It's taken by Smear, out to center right, but the pass would not go across by Bobby Hall. Soviets lining up at their own line. This is Mihайлov, number 13. They picked up big, wide use of the ice to set up the passing combination. This is Ricky Smith. Shot is knocked down. McKenzie bucks into Gusef. And the puck slides down into Canadian territory. And the referee, Canadian linesman, Zagrod, calls the icing. Their coach was Salagan. Anybody that's more passive than Billy Harris would have to be the Soviet coach, Boris Salagan. On the face-off, there's a shot. Johnny McKenzie hit a stick and it bounced high in the air. Mihайлov racing back down the left side. Trying to get in front of that net. They do. They turn out of it. They blocked the shot. And then Petrov there. Halfway mark of the first period. Getting up into the Soviet Union. Back out at center ice, it's Petrov. Petrov back to the line. All the way back to number 2, Alexander Gusef. Gusef. His pass to Petrov. There's not quite yet. So here goes Xarlamov. And he hits the goalpost. Xarlamov on a backhand shot. the goalpost. Here it is to the side of the net again. It's Rick Smith trying to tie him up. It's around the boards to Vasilev. Vasilev back inside the Canadian zone as Cheevers blocks the back of the net. Now Paul Spear trying to come out with it. Long pass. Taken down the left side by Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull fakes the shot. He's runs into the boards. And play carries right on as Petrov holds the puck against the boards and gets the whistle on the play.
Look at this. Shurmanov, and every time you look up, the little fellow's got the puck and forcing Team Canada to come up with some great plays. Beginning to look like the Russian skating ability and their pinpoint passing is starting to take control of the game. At least it's given them many good scoring opportunities.
Back to the blue line now as it gets set for Ricky Lee. He shoots, and that's deflected wide as Gordie Howe tried to poke it to the corner of the net, and he poked it too wide. There's Baxter fighting for the puck as it's taken back to the blue line by Stapleton. That hit a leg and comes all the way out to center right. Ricky Lee drops it back for Gordie Howe. Howe puts it over right onto the stick of Ralph Backstrom. Backstrom fighting for it inside the Soviet zone. Here it is with Backstrom again, and he's hit there by Cıgankov. Round the boards once more as the Canadians try to apply a little pressure. That's Mark Howe putting it out in front and nobody there. Long pass to Lebedev. Lebedev with Yakuşev. He's in front with Shadrin. Trying to get set. The shot goes wide of the goalpost. It's loose and finally cleared down the ice. Soviets are now, with that 2-goal lead, they're starting to set the people out in front. That is to say, breakaway men up at center ice. Mihайлov opened on the first rush of the game from Xarlamov to make it 1-0 for the Soviet Union.
And number 15 around the Canadian defense. Certainly they're just flying, and they're that pinpoint passing and the threat of passing and forcing Team Canada members to get out of position. And the Russians are taking every advantage.
Now for Team Canada, it's Roger Houle passing it, but it hit a leg and never got through. Now Mark Cardiff falls, gets back up, the play is in front. Here it is, getting set, goes Cardiff. Cardiff in front, they shoot! Oh, and touchdown! Tremblay made a sensational save. And with the score of the Soviets 2, Canada nothing, this is Game 6 from Moscow.
Come on, Larry, let's get the show on the road. We've been all over the place. What kind of affair is it going to be without the O'Keefe caravan? This is their dressing room, office, PA system.
Okay, wise guy. You find it.
Turn left here. Sorry. Guess we should have turned right. The O'Keefe caravan will go to any community event, if you'll tell us how to get there. Just give us a call at Sport O'Keefe.
Türin has to be helped to the players' box. He scored 4 goals so far for the Soviet Union, including 2 in the opening game here the other night. Now it's Cardiff at center. The draw comes back to the blue line. They fire it in. The Canadians are keeping it in there. It's Cardiff right in front, and Houle reached for the puck. It was in the air, and he couldn't touch it. Here's Houle again, trying to get it with a backhander. Back to the blue line to Howe. And the Soviets come racing out with Viktorov over to Anison, and the pass is too far. Serge Bernier knocked the puck forward. They ruled that he touched it over his head, but it didn't appear to be anywhere near over his shoulder.
Watch this play coming up here for the 3rd time this period. Serge Bernier has a heck of a chance and just can't get it up. There's a good check. Got us the loose puck. Now watch this great pass by JC. All he had to do was get it up. Tricky, come across. One bad top, the other made the save.
Tretjak has been tested ever since the first 4 or 5 minutes of this first period. He said to make some tough saves to keep that 2-0 lead for the Soviet Union. Now the play. Back out to the Soviet line. A long pass to Xarlamov. Xarlamov fakes a shot. Oh, and he pulls. A great stop after faking it. Now it's back to the side of the net, and it's taken by Mihайлов. Mihайлov down the left wing. A rink-wide pass over to Bruce McGregor. McGregor shoots. A great save there by Tretjak, and it bounces wide. Looking for somebody. Here's Rick Smith. He shoots. And it's deflected wide of the goal by Mihайлov. Back to the blue line again to Paul Spear. And that's knocked down as the Canadians are roaming all over the Soviet zone. Spear going in. His pass to the side of the net. Taken back and it's intercepted. Back comes Mihайлov, number 13. Dumps it out in front to Petrov. Back over to the left wing as the hit is stick and bounce free. This is Petrov. Hit in there by Mihайлov. And the Soviets have it inside the Canadian zone. But the pass comes out to center right. 2-0. Soviets over Canada in Game 6. Petrov. Number 16 circling. Forward to his defenseman, Gusef. Gusef, it's a long shot. Turned aside easily by Jerry Cheevers. And Paul Spear takes it back of his own net for Johnny McKenzie. But he puts it onto the stick of Shadrin. Shadrin gets a second shot. And Cheevers has to kick that one out. The Canadians playing it a little bit loose back there and almost getting trapped. Back out to the blue line to Vasiliev. Vasiliev shoots. That's loose in front of the net as Shadrin was waiting for the rebound.
Got another real dandy going here. Now watch. Gets out to the Russian who lets the screen shot go. Cheevers makes the big save and pounces on the puck. Both goaltenders are coming up with just great performances from that Tretchek as this corner robbed this line, Johnny.
Well, he is, everybody knows, sensational. They found out in 72 how good he really was. He had to make some tough saves in the first game here, but he's had to make some miraculous stops here.
Frank Mihайлov had a great opportunity to get us on the score sheet, but he just popped it right by the goal. He just tossed that puck around once too often. And the Russians broke it up and come out of their own zone.
Shadrin in for the face-off with Andre Lacroix. Lacroix got the draw.
Ladies and gentlemen, the picture troubles that you're experiencing right now are due to satellite problems between Moscow and London. Do not adjust your set. These problems aren't likely to be temporary. It's likely to be like this for most of the afternoon. Just reviewing. The picture problems that you're experiencing are due to satellite problems between Moscow and London. Do not adjust your set.
Whack at him with the stick as he went by. Now it's inside the Canadian zone as Lacroix back of the net with McKenzie on the wing. Looking for Bobby Hull, but he's back to the blue line. There's Hull at center ice. Hull going in over that Soviet blue line, getting set for his shot. He drills it. It's loose in front of the net. And Tretchak has to come out to make the save again as Andre Lacroix was standing there looking for the rebound. It's been a pretty good combination with Lacroix at center for Bobby Hull because Hull says, I want to wind up and I want somebody to throw it to me. I need a right winger who's going to fight for it in the corner, and that's Johnny McKenzie. So it's been a pretty effective unit.
The Russians, though, are flooding the front of the net, and they haven't been able to hit now with the consistency they'd like to.
Now from the face-off, it's taken by Ralph Saxon. Takes the drop pass. Gordie Howe tried to tip it, and he is hit. There's Gordie Howe going into the corner with Urich. Saxon in the corner to Howe, and Howe is hit from behind again. Puck is still inside the zone, getting set. Right out in front. A backhand shot is off the pad of the goalkeeper, Tretchak. But he was able to fall on it and hold on as Mark Howe had a great opportunity. Gordy is taking 2 or 3 good shots out there, and he's getting a little ruffled. From the face-off, the shot goes wide of the Soviet net. Back in the corner after it goes Mark Howe, number 11. Out in front. Bounces across the open goal mouth. Now is J.C. Tremblay in the corner, tied up by Kapustin. Kapustin holds it against the boards before the whistle. Here he's open with that 3-3 tie in Quebec City. Canada bounced back 4-1 in Toronto. Russians then 8-5 in Winnipeg. Canada blew a 2-goal lead to wind up with a 5-5 tie at Vancouver. And the Soviets won the opening game here 3-2, and that round of applause is for the great player, Alexander Maldzev. Shot is well wide of the net from the point, but the Soviets, led by Maldzev, now bring it out to center. It's picked off. Here goes Tremblay. Tremblay to Backstrom, looking for somebody to pass it to. He bounces it in front of the net. And Mark Howe was off balance. There's Gordie Howe running at Anison. Here's a shot from the side. It's off the glove of the goalkeeper, Tretjak. It's back of the net to Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe waits. Which way is he going to come out with it? They've got Backstrom tied up to jam at it. And Tretjak holds it against the post. And with the score, the Soviets 2, Canada nothing. This is Game 6 for Moscow.
Это банк, где люди составляют разницу.
Sort of thinks this coming. Bernier just missed his shot. Great save by Tretjak, and there you see, back to the point. Team Canada has not quit. They're keeping the pressure on the Russians, doing more forechecking. He's back to the point here, and there's the shot. Got it teed up, and away it goes, and it's tipped in between the legs. Back in the ball game. This has just been a tremendous first period of hockey here in Moscow.
The referee gave us the signal for a timeout, and then he promptly began the play, and so there was unfortunately nothing we could do about it. Here we have a puck loose inside the Canadian zone. It's being brought out now by Houle. Houle with Bernier over to Houle.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have lost sound again somewhere between Moscow and London. We ask you to please stand by. We're trying to rectify the problem, and we'll continue with the video portion of the program.
Zone. We had broken up the Russian attack, and then Rick Smith took the penalty, and this type of penalty is going to hurt you in the long run, and it's going to tire out that number 12, who's just been a tower of defense on defense all through the series. That's Pat Stapleton.
So Mark Tardif goes off for the misconduct penalty. Rick Smith is in for a 2-minute penalty. And we're having audio problems is the indication we get, but so far it's back again. And we can tell you that the penalty, in case you missed it, was cross-checking to Rick Smith.
Goes 2-1. Vasilev coming in over the blue line, and it's tapped away by Tremblay to center ice. He feeds it back to Mihайлov in his own zone. He just spread it over on an open wing. McGregor flashes it back to Tremblay near the Canadian blue line. For Stapleton, they kill some seconds ahead to Henderson. Henderson coming up, back in his own zone for Tremblay. Xarlamov going in to watch Tremblay in front of the net. Tremblay fooled him, went around the goal again. out to Stapleton, and down the ice it goes near the Russian blue line. Gusев, a pass up on the left wing, Xarlamov winding up. He gets across center, Xarlamov had a stick lifted by McGregor. McGregor got a stick across the shoulder, but Henderson carries on. Henderson, pass it back into Stapleton. Stapleton out to Markow. Markow down to Henderson. Henderson up for a shot. He didn't get it away. Now he tries to pull his way through. He's upended in the corner. The play goes right on. Vasilev upending Henderson. The Canadian fans wanted a penalty, but no penalty coming. The Russians a man advantage. Vikulov cutting for the net. Markow after him. Vikulov gets away from Howe. Vikulov still has it. Over on this side. Petrov had his shot blocked. Had it tipped away by Tremblay. And now the Canadians hold it in their own zone. Henderson getting a whistle as he wants to get off, no doubt, for a change. And a face-off coming up in the Canadian zone to the right. Face-off to the right of Cheevers. 2-1 is the score. Russia leading. Shadreen with Yakuşev and Vikulov. Lutchenko and Цыганков, the two defensemen. Stapleton going over to the penalty bench. Bob Troy as Coach Billy Harris might to keep Stapleton and J.C. split for this game with other pairings. Trouble because these penalties have forced them to use this duo.
Shadrin in for the face-off, gets the draw back to the blue line, but it comes out. Now it's taken by Yakuşev. Over there on the right side to Wikulov. Wikulov 18 in the corner, bumped in there by Whitey Stapleton. Goes around to Yakuşev, number 15. Yakuşev gets the little bouncing shot in front of the net, and Shadrin takes the rebound. Shadrin trying to get set. Back in front, it's knocked down by J.C. Tremblay, and he fires it to center. Tremblay and Stapleton have been just sensational throughout this series. Here comes Wikulov trying to get through. Rick Smith is back on the ice, and he fires it up into the crowd. This is over at this end, but we just now have word that apparently our line was crossed to the CBC radio line, and now we go back to Bobby Hall, winding up at his own blue line. With LaCroix moving over on the wing. Here's a drop pass for Schmier. Now they race into the corner. Paul Schmier trying to put it out in front for Johnny McKenzie, but he couldn't get it. Back at the blue line, Lebedev with Shadrin, two men back, looking for that drop pass, and Yakuşev is right out there in front. They bang at the loose puck. Paul Schmier clears to center. It's taken back over here by number 21, Shadalov, and it's over to Bobby Hall. Hall ahead to LaCroix. LaCroix back over to Schmier. And they got that passing combination going, trying to get Hull set up for his shot, but they're called offside at the Soviet blue line. Seconds left in this penalty. The clocks are partly covered by the overhanging rafters here. We have to glance on these, and we were just guessing at the time. But it appears to be 21 seconds left in the first period, with the Soviets leading Canada 2-1. And Anison on the face-off. Number 22 feeds it up on the right side to Vikulov inside the Canadian zone. Has it knocked off of his stick, and he puts it back out to the blue line. It's offside. Shows 8.5 seconds left. The referee, Billy Harris, really exploded down there. The referee was going to let that call go. I couldn't believe it. The puck was a good foot outside the blue line. And finally, one of the linesmen came over and called it. And now, they're bringing the face-off back into the Soviet zone to the left. Well, that happen when you're a man short and you touch the puck over your shoulder in the opposing zone, unless they call it the intentional offside, and that's what they've done. Now the puck comes back out to Paul Schmier. Schmier is hooked. The puck slides down into Soviet territory as he doesn't sound to end the first period. It's been a wild and woolly first period. First period where we've encountered several technical difficulties on our transmission to Canada. What happened, it was Mihайлov opened the scoring on the first rush of the game. Then Marty Howe took an elbowing penalty. Vasilev on a great play went in to beat the goalkeeper Jerry Cheevers on a little backhand shot up above him. Paul Schmier then drilled one from the blue line to make it a 2-1 hockey game, and that's the way it stands at the end of this first period. So with the score, the Soviets 2 and Canada 1, this is Game 6 from Moscow. Well, thank you, Don. The players are just returning to the ice, and as a matter of fact, they have just announced the presentation by the Soviet Ice Hockey Federation to Mальцев, Alexander Mальцев, and to Jerry Cheevers as the two most outstanding players in the game here on Tuesday night. Other presentations made from game to game. There will be the most valuable players made during this game. And there's a good look at our friend Nikolai Ozerov as he broadcasts the game down on the point. Vasilev, this could be Vasiliev's goal. It is. Vasilev, that's the goal that, the second goal that Jerry Cheevers thought was going to go up.
Just look at him, around the defenseman and how he throws it up high and into the net. Look at this escape. This is the amazing part of it. He guts around JC. He could have cut a little sooner, but he run into Stapleton. Goes from his forehand to his backhand, cuts it upstairs. That's the only possible spot he could have put it. The only error Cheevers could have made is that he fell down. He did that, and Vasilev took every opportunity, and I think scored just a great goal, but his skating got that goal for him, John.
Vasilev has picked up his second goal of the series. He also has one assist for a total of 3 points. Bobby Hull still leads the series with 6 goals and 2 assists for 8 points. Andre Lacroix has 1 goal and 5 assists for 6 points. And then we have Alexander Yakuşev with 5 goals. Then Petrov with 2 goals and 3 assists. Vladimir Petrov is the second Russian scorer with a total of 5 points. Mihайлov now has, with his goal tonight, his third goal of the series, plus 2 assists. That's a total of 5. So we have 3 Russians with 5 points apiece. As we
sutures, they tell me they have this paste, acra something, light. And anyway, they open this particular tube or container and push it in the cut and close the wound by hand. And in 5 seconds, it hardened. And this way, you don't miss a shift. The guy got right back on for the next shift, and in 2 or 3 days, it's just healed away.
That's something I imagine that the boxing fraternity would like to have their hands on. A good cut man, of course, they're invaluable along the way.
Acrylate, I think, is the proper medical term for it.
You've done the thing.
It has just come to me. But it's interesting, Lebedev was cut in one of the games in Canada, and it was a rather deep gash. And they used this particular treatment so that he wouldn't miss any ice time. But they frantically called for Jerry Wilson a few seconds later and said the bleeding is still occurring through this particular substance. And Jerry had to cut this stuff out. It was hardened. He had to cut it out and then, of course, go ahead with the North American routine of putting the sutures in. So it doesn't work all the time. Well, we're set to go, Fred, for the second period. It's 2-1, Russia leading, and play is underway with Howe and Stapleton exchanging passes. Down it goes in the far wing. Xarlamov gave it to Petrov. It bounced by him. Stapleton comes up with Gordie Howe. That pass was a little too far. Howe in after Vasiliev behind the net. Howe trying to get his stick loose, kicked it out to the blue line. Lee golfed it to the corner for Gordie Howe. Howe over to Backstrom. Backstrom tried to center it. It comes back near the line. Stapleton shoots. The rebound back to Stapleton again. He rolled it in front of the net. Here's Ricky Lee. Some pressure on now as Team Canada come to life in the early going of the second period. A long pass at center. Petrov, without a stick, is kicking the puck down the ice, and he does. But Lee has it in his own zone for Team Canada. Lee coming out slowly. Now he's over the blue line, coming down with Backstrom on the move. Backstrom cuts to the corner by Gusev. He tried to get it back. He did. A shot by Howe is deflected, went high. And Tretjak, taking no chances, reached up and held it.
Mark Tardif still in the penalty box on the far side, serving out his 10-minute misconduct, called at 16:38. And that breaks up the French selection line, which was reunited upon Tardif's return to the squad coming into Moscow from Canada.
And which, Fred, incidentally, in the first few minutes of the game, looked very hot indeed. By far our best line. Bernier has 3 golden scoring opportunities. 1 hit the crossbar. And Hull, of course, got a goal. 2-1, Russia leading. And Russia on the move again, near the Canadian blue line. Shadrin was stopped. Shadrin again in the center ice area, bumped off the puck by Bernier. Now it's J.C. Tremblay losing it at center ice. Shadrin left it for Yakuşev, ahead to Lebedev. Lebedev backs up over center, over for Shadrin, who is open. Or rather, Shadalov back to Shadrin. He took a shot. Cheevers stopped it. The rebound to Lebedev. He took a swipe at it. Gets it back to Shadalov. A shot. High drive is blocked in front by Bernier. Bobby Hull in his own zone lost it to Lebedev. Out to the blue line. Tsagankov took a shot and hit Hull. And he nearly got a breakaway, but Shadalov was back covering up. Tsagankov in his own zone. Laid it behind the net. Has it again. Got away from Hull for Lebedev. Lebedev stopped by Hull, and Bernier takes over. Bernier with Hull in on the wing against Shadalov in the corner. Shadalov poked at it. Bernier takes it, centered it. Here's Marty Howe, a backhand shot. An easy drive was stopped, and it was cleared out to center ice. Marty Howe lost it to Yakuşev. Yakushev's rink-wide pass went to Lebedev. He hopped in over the blue line. Lebedev with Bernier after him. Lebedev checked behind the net. The puck goes to the other side. Yakuşev couldn't stop Bernier. Out to Hull. Hull going down with Hull on the move again. Hull gets into Hull, and his stick was lifted by Tsagankov. 2-1 Russia. Team Canada looking a little better now and coming close again in the second period. Mahavlich lost it. Hull lost it at center, and Marty Howe comes across center. A pass in on the wing for McGregor. McGregor picked it up behind the goal, then lost it. And Shadrin is coming out. Ahead of him, Vikulov. The long pass ahead. Couldn't hit Mальцев. It bounced by him. Vikulov is stopped in the corner. Now it's Team Canada. 3 of them coming to center. McGregor on the wing. Going in with Mahavlich. Into Mahavlich. And he failed to tip it by Tretjak. He reached out for it and just couldn't make contact. Henderson falls down. Now the play goes right on. Mahavlich went into the fray. Mahavlich comes out front with it. Here's a shot by Speer. And his shot was wide. Rick Smith gets a drive away. And Tretjak gloved that one as he covered on the short side. But I'll tell you, Team Canada is looking 100% better now.
They trail 2-1. This game coming to you from the Luzhniki Sports Palace in Moscow.
Is the score. Russia out front as it goes back of the net for Lutchenko. On the board, Schmier stopped it from the blue line. Vikulov couldn't take it away from him. Schmier on the board, cuts for the net, tries to drive in front. Mahavlich shoots. Tretjak kicked that one out. Mahavlich was tied up in front by Tюрин. And coming back for Kuzin, he took a drive. That was stopped in front, Kapustin rather. And Cheevers held it long enough for the whistle to go, and there will be a face-off in the Canadian zone to the right of Jerry Cheevers.
Kapustin, the well-regarded young man who's been out the last few games with a broken finger, but he's back in there now, threaded into the lineup as Mальцев came over the bench very slowly. He's one of their top guns.
Anison into the face-off circle against Lacroix of Canada. 2-1 Russia. Lacroix got the draw for Hull behind the net. He gives it to Stapleton. Stapleton on the boards coming out with Lacroix. The rink-wide pass was stopped, but Hull has it. Hull speeding in. Hull was stopped in front and couldn't shoot it. Kapustin turning around in his own zone, goes behind the net, gave it to Tюрин. He cleared it up on the right wing. That'll go all the way for icing likely. It does. It's icing against the Soviet Union, and the play will come back to the right of Tretjak.
They played 4 minutes and 9 seconds of the second period. Faced off to the right of Tretьяк. Vasilev comes out on the defense again. With Gusiev. Lacroix to Hull. Shoot! And his low shot is stopped by Tretьяк. A rather easy shot for Hull. Lacroix centered it. Tretьяk stopping it, and he's going to hold it, I think. Yes, he does. Nobody in front of him. Covering up, and he decides to hold it until they get organized, and they'll do it all over again to the right of the Russian goaltender. Hull standing behind Lacroix, who undoubtedly will try to get the draw back to Bobby Hull. Puck is dropped in, and it went to Mihайлов, to Xarламов, speeding away. Xarламов up near the blue line, circles back again. He's a great skater, played it back to Gusiev. Gusiev up on the line. And it's Petrov in with Mihайлov across the blue line. Mihайлov poked it into Xarламov, had his stick lifted, and Bobby Hull, covering up, cleared it back of the Canadian net. He got away from Mihайлov, dropped it in the corner. Now a pass for Stapleton from Lee. Stapleton up for Lacroix. Lacroix stopped, but Stapleton trailing the play, brings it on himself, gets over center ice. Stapleton still has it for Lacroix. Lacroix over the line, dropped it in for Bobby Hull, but Petrov cleared it away. A break for Xarламov, feeding in. He's all alone, and Cheevers made the save with Ricky Lee getting back to harass Xarламov. The Russian fans wanted a penalty on it. Bobby Hull for Stapleton in the corner. He left it for Lacroix, and here he comes. A pass to McKenzie. Back to Lacroix, to McKenzie. McKenzie down the boards on the right wing. A pass to Hull. It was too high and went by him. Petrov comes out again. In for Mihайлov and Xarламov. The shot is blocked. A rebound. Mihайлov couldn't center it. Xarламov was bumped by Stapleton in front of the net. And the puck comes out to McKenzie, who's down to center. McKenzie in on the right wing. In front for Bobby Hull. And Hull couldn't get by Petrov. Petrov's pass down to Lebedev. He's coming in with Xarламov. Lebedev to Xarламov, and he's jammed out of the play by Backstrom. Into the corner. Backstrom got his skate down on it, and there's no further play.
Soviet Union 2. Team Canada 1. Let's pause briefly for station identification.
Canadian fans in the background, hollering for a goal. Canada trailing by 1. It's 2-1. 2 quick goals by the Soviets in the first period. At 25 seconds, Mihайлov from Xarламov, and then Vasilev, while Marti Howe was serving a 2-minute penalty for elbowing at 2:43. It wasn't until 15:56 when Rejahoul tipped in a shot by Speer. Speer's shot came from the blue line, and Houle, standing off the crease, tipped it in. And that's been the story of the scoring. 2-1, Russia leading.
Investigation across the way has decided misconduct when it will expire. Gordon Howe escorting the referee Dombrowski over there to check on it. Face off in the Team Canada zone. Ralph Backstrom in there to the right of Cheevers. Now Stapleton has gone to Dombrowski, and Stapleton coming toward the Team Canada bench. The bench is immediately below us, the penalty box on the far side. So we're all set to start as Backstrom moves in. Bob?
Shadreen against Backstrom on the face-off. Kicked it over to one side. It goes back of the goal, and Tremblay takes it. A long pass went down the ice, and Howe couldn't catch up to it. Tsagankov was back quickly. Tsagankov put it on Marti, and they score! Gordie Howe from Mark Howe, and it's a tied ball game, 2-2. Gordie Howe jumping in front of the net as Tsagankov fed it back near the blue line, and he put it on right on Mark Howe's stick. He took the shot, and Gordie, speeding in front of the net, just tipped it in, and it's a 2-2 tie. 6:15 the time.
Well, the family doing it there, and it set the Canadian crowd into an uproar. They're behind that particular net. The banners come out. It's a new hockey game here, and Team Canada seems to have come back, righted itself,
and putting itself into position here to take over and take command of this game. If they can just maintain the disciplined deportment, keep up this checking. Cheevers has supplied the goaltending. He's been simply splendid in there. And Howe now equaling the count with his third goal from Sun Mark at 6:15. Bob? And you can see the delight written all over the old fellow's face when he saw that red light go on. Tip in from Mark Howe. Here's Mark again on the left wing. Took a shot in front of Gordy, and he's tied up by Shadalov. Play goes right on. Right in front of the net it comes. And Mark Howe was too well covered. Backstrom on the board. Gordy Howe chopped at it, couldn't keep it in. It was cleared out to center ice by Shadrin. J.C. Tremblay lost it to Lebedev. Lebedev put it on Gordy Howe's stick, and he's in front of his own net. Now Howe in the corner, stick handling with it. Finally had it knocked away by Lebedev. Now Howe again tried to bring it out. Цыганков stopped it, shot it wide of the net. Cheevers tipped it away for Tremblay. Over on the other side is Gordy Howe, with Shadalov watching him. Backstrom trying to catch up to it. Цыганков is back in his own zone. Shadrin coming out with a pass to Lebedev. Yakушев moving in. Yakушев was bumped by Marti Howe and couldn't go through. Then it was cleared down the ice. It'll be icing if it reaches the goal line, and it does. Icing against Team Canada.
A 2-2 hockey game. You're listening to Team Canada 74 on CBC Radio.
Cardiff, who's back on, having served his misconduct penalty on the boards in the Russian zone. In for a hole behind the net. Hole tried to center it. Bernier is after it. It's cleared down the ice by the Russians as this French line is doing great work for Canada. Bernier, Hull, and Cardiff looking very good tonight. Now in their own zone, Cardiff pumped it ahead for Bernier and Hull. The three of them together down the left wing. Hull tried to get by the big defenseman. Türin was knocked to the ice, but Cardiff went in quickly. Cardiff centered it to the side of the net, and Lutchenko bringing it out for Russia. Couldn't get by Cardiff. In for Bernier. Bernier centered it right back in front, and Türin was there. In on the left wing, the Russians bring it out. Kapustin going down. Over the line, Vikulov. Anison scores! Anison put a shot through the legs of Gary Cheevers, and the Russians take the lead again at 8:22. That makes it 3-2.
Three-on-two break, and the Soviets very speedily coming back. Good passing, and that swift shot beating Cheevers. So it's 3-2 for the Soviet Union at 8:22.
Play underway again. Stapleton fed it ahead for Henderson too far. And Mihайлов, a long pass for Xarlamov, is tapped away from him, but it was offside anyway, up over center ice. Xarlamov looking for the long pass. He got it, but he was offside when he picked it up.
Anison's first goal, and Vikulov draws an assist.
Faced off inside the blue line. It's cleared in from center ice by Lee. Behind the net, Gusев on the board. Coming out for Russia, stopped by Frank Mahovlich. McGregor and Henderson are in there. McGregor got in front and couldn't hang on to it. Gusев shoots it to the line. Stopped by Henderson. Henderson got it loose but lost control of it. And it goes back to the net. Xarlamov in the corner. A long pass up on the wing for Mihайлov and Petrov. Mihайлov over the blue line. Tried to stick handle through. Henderson got back to clear it. Xarlamov picked it up. Shoots it back of the net. Mihайлov is unmolested going after it. He left it for Petrov. And now it's Stapleton. Out for McGregor. The pass was behind McGregor. And Gusев is back in his own zone. 3-2, Russia leading. Now this is Gusев. Stopped by
McGregor and Mihайлов with him. McGregor is stopped in front of the net, couldn't make a play. Bobby Hull at the blue line took a quick shot. That's stopped by Tretьяк. Hull went in after it again and couldn't find it. Lebedev speeds out. Down to Xarламов. Xarламov gets set. Back to Petrov. And the shot is stopped by Cheevers. Frank Mihайлов up to McKenzie at center with Hull. Hull is stopped by Gusев. Back in for Russia. The drive. That one was wide of the short side. Frank Mihайлov stopped by Lebedev. It goes back of the net. Petrov and Stapleton go after it. And it's lead to the corner with McKenzie and ready to help. It was cleared into the crowd by Rick Lee, and there's no further play.
A 3-2 hockey game. The Soviet Union leading this game, coming to you from the Luzhniki Sports Palace in Moscow.
Face off to the right of Cheevers. 3-2 Russia. J.C. Tremblay behind the net for Canada. Getting set from the corner. Tremblay's pass down to Lacroix. He's all alone there. And three of them stop him. It bounces near the Canadian blue line. And Shadreen brought it in with Lebedev. Again, Tremblay goes to the corner, drops it there. Marty Howe tipped it ahead for Bobby Hull on the left wing boards coming out. Hull backs up in his own zone with Tremblay handling the puck, or rather Marty Howe again, giving it to Hull. Hull gets away across his own line. Tries to get by Shadreen, was stopped. Now Hull takes it in the center ice area, waits for Lacroix to come back out, and J.C. Tremblay gives it to McKenzie. McKenzie shoots, and Tretьяк stopped it on the short side. McKenzie and Цыганков bump together. Out to the blue line. Marty Howe has a chance now. He takes his shot. Marty out of the corner, back of the net. Tried to center it. J.C. Tremblay has it. Tremblay on a bad angle. Marty Howe gets set. The goal post has been moved. The entire net shoved out of position, and the play was called. Doesn't take much to move those nets, Fred.
Well, there was a lot of traffic. Lebedev trying to tie up Bobby Hull right in the crease. Tretьяk standing there, and the bulk of the three men just moving the net off its moorings. But I'll tell you, that is not a good place to be if you're an offensive hockey player moving in there, because the work, the stick work, and the body work in there is just tremendous. And Dombrowski's just taking a look at it as a spectator.
Face off to the right of Tretьяk. Gordie Howe got the draw. Mark Howe couldn't shoot it. And Kапustin picks it up quickly and comes out over the line. A long pass ahead was tipped into the Canadian zone. Anniston went in after Rick Smith. Behind the net, Mark Howe was given a jolt by Kapustin. Then Mark Howe took Kapustin out of the play. They hold it on the board. Spear and Vikulov pushing at each other. Play was called for a face-off in the Canadian zone. Nearing the 12-minute mark of this second period, 3-2, Russia leading. They line up for the draw. Here it is. It bounces in front. And Mark Howe, nice bit of stick handling to come out with his father, Gordie, on the left. And Gordie Howe stopped it at the blue line. Gave it to Spear. Spear into the corner. Backstrom went over after it. He was slow and moving for it. Gordie Howe takes it. Mark Howe back of the net. In front it goes. And out near the line, Smith took a shot. Right in front. Backstrom couldn't set up Gordie Howe. And Backstrom is bowled over by Lutchenko. Backstrom hollering for a penalty. It's cleared down the ice by the Russians. And icing called.
Well, that's the type of inconsistent officiating. And the fans back of Tretьяk in the section, mainly populated by Canadians, venting their displeasure with lusty booing.
Face off to the left of Tretьяk now. 3-2, Russia leading. Backstrom, Mark Howe, and Gordie Howe. From the face-off, Backstrom tying up his man. And then it got in front where Gordie Howe failed to get a stick on it. Backstrom carried the defenseman Vasiliev into the boards. Now they fight for possession. Vasiliev and Backstrom. They're swinging over there. Vasiliev took a swing at Backstrom, but the play goes right on. No penalty called. Xarlamov dropped it for Petrov. He tried to set up Mihайлов in front. Smith gloved it away. Now a penalty is called, I believe, against Canada. Mihайлov was bumped down in the corner by Mark Howe, and now Backstrom is arguing with the referee. And this is where they just
just have to keep their cool somehow and not fight back. A cross-checking penalty, this one against Mark Howe. This game is coming to you from the Luzhniki Sports Palace in Moscow. And Bob Cole at the Luzhniki Sports Palace in Moscow. Canadian fans upset. The Canadian bench certainly upset. Billy Harris down below. The inconsistent call. Taking a look at the penalty assessments, it's been all Team Canada. Marty Howe, Smith, Tardif, and Mark Howe. And Canada under pressure right at the outset from the 25-second mark when they gave up a goal, a power play goal at 2:43. Shaved a margin at 15:56 of the first period. Equalized at 6:15 on a goal by Gordon Howe. And Russia went ahead 3-2 on Anisin's goal at 8:22. But certainly, this chippiness is creeping into the game again. Backstrom hung up behind the net there and no call. And this is what aggravated Ralph the other night with a call that wasn't made, and he got a 10-minute misconduct. So they're just going to have to keep their cool with it, Bob, and I don't know how they're going to do it. Petrov is going back into the fray. Now, there's an example of that quick suturing, and we can call it suturing, with the pace. He's back in action as Canada breaks out. McGregor and Henderson, a two-man break, a pass in front. Oh! And McGregor was upended with a great save by Tretjak on Henderson. Xarlamov got it back along the blue line. It bounces out over the line to center ice. Oh, and McGregor has given a jolt at the far side and a punch. McGregor is being punched now all over the place, and I believe this could erupt into something we have never seen before in this type of a series. McGregor, who is probably one of the more gentlemanly players in North America, was taking quite a beating at the far side. He did not throw a punch. Did not throw a punch at all, and he took 3 or 4 hard rights. Now, if McGregor gets thrown out of this game here, I'll tell you. Stapleton is over there, and he's giving him the sweater. He's pulling that sweater. It looks as though McGregor is headed in there. He gave him the choke sign. Well, we don't have to tell North Americans the type of hockey that Bruce McGregor has been playing over the years in his career. And this was just another example. He just took everything that the Russian handed out, and this is something that Team Canada must try to do. But let's face it, when you do it, and it still doesn't work, it can be very frustrating indeed. Well, it looks as though Vasilev has picked up 5 minutes, and McGregor 5 minutes. Now, good grief. How can you justify that? Can't believe it. Just can't believe it. Let me tell you, everybody, that's a 5-minute penalty for taking 3 or 4 shots on the nose is something that I've yet to see in a rule book, even here. No way McGregor should be in the penalty box to start with. He had his stick held, and it works both ways. On that last play in the corner, Smith upended a man. There's no question about it. And Smith should have been called for a penalty in there. It works both ways. And yet, when you have this thing come up, how upsetting and frustrating it must be. Harris is down below talking to Pat Stapleton. Paul Henderson. It just upsets what could be excellent hockey. We've seen so much good hockey, Bob, in the games in Canada. And there were flashes of it the other night. But this is just inexcusable. The refereeing the other night was, as I termed it in a report, a tasteless Polish joke. Beyond the capabilities of these men, and yet they're threaded in. Deeply distressing. Here's Bob. Well, Team Canada is short-handed now. They're playing 5 against 4. Backstrom in the center ice area will try to rag it a bit. Gives it to Tremblay. Up to Stapleton. Stapleton ahead to Backstrom. Backstrom tried to cut in. Nearly got by Shadalov. Shadrin coming back with Yakушев. Yakушев on the board. Fed it back to the blue line. Цыганков into Yakушев again. Yakушев along the boards, just waiting with it.
Now he spins around in the zone, gets it back to Цыганков. To Шаталов on this side. He might shoot it. He gives it to Цыганков. It's gloved ahead by Stapleton. Now again, Цыганкov to Шаталов. Шаталov gets set. Team Canada playing the box well. The drive is stopped by Cheevers. Cheevers is slow in getting up. He's down on one knee. Now he's back up. Along the boards again. Shadalov near the blue line. Looking to work it free to somebody. Цыганков shoots it. And his shot was wide. It comes out to Shadalov. Shadalov gets set. Team Canada just wasting time and standing in front of the Russians. They don't know what to do. Back to Shadalov again. Shadalov shoots. Scores! Shadalov drilled one, and it went by everybody, including Cheevers. That's another power play goal for Russia, and it makes it 4-2.
Well, that brought the fans here, the Soviet fans, up, and certainly put the damper on the Canadian contingent. A second power play goal, Shadalov doing the damage. And that brings Markow out of the penalty box, and the teams now will play it at 5-a-side. Tsygankov drew an assist on the play.
At center ice, Frank Mihайлов. Team Canada down 2 goals now with Henderson. Henderson lost it, a 2-man break. It's Vikulov breaking in all alone. Vikulov right in. And Cheevers came flying out, lost his stick in the process. Frank Mihайлov goes behind the goal. Mihайлov left it for Smith. Cheevers still without his stick. Schmier tried to shoot it down the ice, and he does. And Rick Smith gets the goal stick back for Cheevers. Good play by Cheevers on that break. Vikulov again trying to move in against Schmier. Schmier in the corner. Knocked it behind the net for Frank Mihайлov. Out for Henderson. He's coming out slowly. Henderson near center ice. Goes up near the Russian blue line. Still has it. Then loses it. And they clear it down. Shoot it into Vikulov. Vikulov tries to shoot it. Had his stick lifted by Henderson. And Schmier lost it near the side of the net. Goes back to pick it up. Anison after him. It's in the mesh. And there's no further play. They'll get a face-off in the Canadian zone to the left.
You're listening to Team Canada 74 on CBC Radio.
The face-off play underway again, and Hull comes out to center. Hull with Lee. Lee cutting up near the blue line to Bobby Hull. He took a shot that was blocked by Цыганков, and the Russian Petrov bringing it out. Gusев across his own blue line to center ice. Gusев pushed it ahead for Xarlamov. Stapleton watching him. They get their sticks up right away. Xarlamov forgot about the puck entirely. Lee is coming back. Rick Lee over the line, gets in front, waits, passed it into Hull, and Hull is stopped. He centered it, but Tretjak covered it easily. A pass to Xarlamov went by him. Stapleton takes it near his own blue line. Gives it to Rick Lee. 4-2, Russia leading. With 3:50 left to play in the second period. Stapleton bringing it in. Stapleton across the line, giving it to Hull. He lost it, and he has to go back to center. Lacroix has to get back on side as Hull passed it over to the far side for Lacroix. The Russians lining up at the blue line. Here's Hull with a chance, and a shot stopped by Tretjak. Hull letting his shot go, but put it right up the goaltender. Now Gusев working it out with Petrov down to center ice. Petrov up over the Canadian line, dropping it back, and Bobby Hull picks it up. Hull coming back all alone. He has 3 Russians to beat. Shoot! And stopped by Tretjak again. 4-2 the score with 3:10 left to play in the second period. Russia out front. Shadrin circling at center, coming up over the line. He got by Tremblay. Shadrin couldn't stop Poole, who came back to check him. Now Rajaul coming out, weaving his way near the blue line for Bernier. Coming up with Marty Howe. Bernier is bumped at the blue line by Lutchenko. And now Bernier is given another jolt. The play is called. Let's see if there's going to be a penalty. Lutchenko and Shadreen each had a go at Bernier. Shadreen was the second man in, and the Canadian fans are hollering again for a penalty, but there's no penalty coming. And that one happened. Well, the referee had to get out of the way, actually. He couldn't be any closer. Just couldn't be any closer to it. Now Callaghan has called his two forwards in. That's Mihайлов and Шадрин coming in there, along with big number 3, Vladimir Lutchenko, and Callaghan giving them some instruction as Billy Harris now calls, looks as though he's trying to get the attention of J.C. Tremblay. Now he calls Bernier over. There's a good deal of room in front of the bench, so you can go right to the rink side. He's called his foreman in now. Team Canada in there, away white with the red trim. The Soviet team in all red. Red helmets, red sweaters, pants, stockings. And the only thing really red, the back of the necks of the Canadians. I'll tell you, they just have to be so frustrated and upset with the tenor of this hockey game, which has come unstrung in this second period. Mihайлov backs up in his own zone. Laid it ahead for Shadreen, coming down at center. The pass to Tюрин on the right wing. He was stopped at the line by Hull. And Russia coming back to cover up Lutchenko for Tюрин. He's out on the wing. Mihайлov got away from Marty Howe's check. Marty Howe made a good run at him, but Mihайлov saw him coming and moved quickly. J.C. Tremblay near center ice with Marty Howe. Marty Howe fed it on an open wing. Nobody was there at all. And Tюрин, the defenseman, cleared it in. Marty Howe has it at the Canadian blue line. Out over it now. A pass on the wing. Coming down McGregor. Gulped one in off the boards. Bernier is after it. Bernier stopped by Vasiliev. Now it's cleared near the blue line where Marty Howe shoots into the corner. 4-2 the score. Russia leading. Team Canada needing a goal with less than 2 minutes to go in the period. And coming out again, Vasiliev for Russia has a hole on the wing. Shoots! And he grazed the side of the post with it. Just missed on the short side. In the center ice area, Mihайлov, number 13, back for Lutchenko. A minute and a half left in the period. 4-2, Russia out front. And Anison takes it. He lost it with a pass that Bernier takes it over the blue line. Shoots! And he drilled a hard one wide. Now Hull with the rebound. Hull tried to center it. Mark Howe gets set to make a play. To Schmier, and his shot is wide. Kапustin in the corner. Brought it in behind his own net. Came right in front of the goal with it. Kapustin coming out. A pass ahead for Anison. Vikulov on the right wing. Vikulov got it in front. Kapustin all alone. And he banged on it. He was in all alone. 55 seconds left in the period. Anison's pass on the right wing. Vikulov is stopped by Paul Schmier. Schmier lost it again. Now Vikulov stopped by Gordie Howe. Howe gave him a good ride on the board. Back of the net in the corner, Schmier being bothered by Anison. Bernier tried to tip it ahead for Howe and failed. Kapustin had him covered. Now Schmier again turning. He has to hold it with his skate now with 31 seconds left in the period. 4-2 the score. Russia leading. And Canada needing a goal desperately before this period is over. 31 seconds remaining in the second period. We're going to have a chat via tape with Ralph Lashushin and Peter Walker of the embassy. We managed to corner them yesterday. They're very busy fellows connected with the embassy here, and we're going to get some of the background of life for Canadians in the city. Right off the draw, Cheevers had to make a stop with a skate save. Tremblay's pass too far for Stapleton. Mark Howe, though, at the blue line, gave it to him. Then to J.C. Tremblay again to Stapleton. Stapleton up for Gordie Howe. He has a little trouble controlling it. Then lost it to Vikulov. Vikulov to Anison. Mark Howe had him covered, though. They push at each other. With 8 seconds left, Stapleton ahead for Backstrom. But he was offside at the blue line. And the play was called. That should kill the period. Just 5 seconds left to go in this second period.
Gordie Howe tied it at 6:15 from Mark Howe as he tipped it in on Mark Howe's shot. Then Anison made it 3-2 from Kapustin at 8:22. Shadalov on a power play, the second power play goal of the game for the Russians at 13:57. 4-2. 5 seconds left. Back to the Soviet blue line. Vasilyev comes back inside the line, and the horn goes to end the second period. The score at the end of the second period, the Soviet Union 4, Team Canada, WHA 2.
Well, you think it's rough out there on the ice. A little rough here with these eager Canadian fans from all over the country. Are you having a good time in Moscow?
Great time.
Real good. Real good. Where are you from?
Barrie, Ontario.
Yeah? How about
Dawson City, Yukon.
Well, there's the diversity of it from all over Canada. You, sir?
London, Ontario.
London?
And Wasaga Beach, Ontario.
Raceway in Rexdale.
Rexdale. All right. And here's a guy. He's got to be from Toronto or nearby.
No, I'm not. I'm from Port Colborne, Ontario.
There's no team in Port Colborne, right?
Yeah, we have a team. We have a good team in Port Colborne. An intermediate.
The Leafs are your team, huh?
The Leafs, well, they are my team, and I also am a Buffalo supporter now.
All right. All right. And a megaphone way up there at the top. They'll hear you coming.
This is the leader of the cheering section, and boy, we got 2 games left. We're going to win all 3 of them.
You've lost your voice. Huh? Okay. Over here now we've got, here's a young fella. Where are you from?
Edmonton.
Edmonton. All right.
From Edmonton.
Edmonton, Alberta.
Hey, what do you think if we reinstate the Warwick brothers, Grant and Dickie and Billy? How's that? Oh, Tom, by the way, we've got these cufflinks from the city of Edmonton for you as we gave to the Russians this morning. Hope you enjoy them.
Thank you very much. Yes, it certainly is. All right. We out of time? All right. One more thing?
I'd like to say how good the Russian people have been to us. Just the hospitality is just fantastic. Even though they don't speak our language, they have just been wonderful to us, fed us well, and kept us good.
Glad to hear it, sir. Enjoy the rest of your stay. Now let's go back upstairs to Johnny and Howie.
Okay, Don, I think that went all right, but it's great to see so many people from so many areas across Canada having a good time with their team. It's just been a delight.
If y'all weren't heard, you were seen.
Matter of fact, the team went to see the Moscow Circus last night, and then the other people went to see the circus in training this morning. Some went to see Swan Lake at the Bolshoi.
Howie, you and I going to Swan Lake, or?
No, I'm going to the circus, John.
These zones to our left in the 15,000 stadium, and the teams are at full strength in the quarter. Hockey game, one at the end of the first period.
Certainly could return to being the exciting hockey that we've known and appreciated. Set to go, here's Bob Cole. 4-2, Russia leading, and the third period is underway. Gusiev, a pass ahead at center ice. Xarlamov again on the move. He's going in on Tremblay, and his shot is stopped by Cheevers from close in. Frank Mahovlich near the blue line. Couldn't bring it out, but Henderson does with McGregor. A pass to McGregor. He kicks it across the line, and Vasilyev is back, but Henderson takes it. He centered to Mahovlich. He shoots, and he hit the side of the net after the puck came off Gusiev. A pass for Mihайлов coming out. Mihайлов for Russia, in with Petrov, and Xarlamov. Mihайлov carries into the corner with it, stops. Mihайлov still has it. Now a pass to Gusiev, and McGregor, slow in getting it out of his own zone, flipped it up to center, and Petrov brought it right back in again. Took a shot, went high off Cheevers' shoulder. Frank Mahovlich for Henderson. It went by him. And down the ice, it's icing against Team Canada.
But Xarlamov was on the fly again. It's really where big ice tells the tale whether you can skate or not. And that Russian Xarlamov can really fly. He went to the outside of J.C. Tremblay, took it to his backhand, and forced Cheevers to make a great save. That's about the 4th time tonight that he's done that.
Canadians have taken 35 penalties. The Soviets have taken 19 so far in the series. Bobby Hull faked at the back of the net. He left it there for Rick Lee as they come racing up the center now at the pass to Hull, but it never quite got through. Here comes Yakушев. Yakушев over to Lebedev. Lebedev, number 11. He lets a shot go, and that's caught there by the goalkeeper, Jerry Cheevers, and he holds on for the whistle. Lacroix for the face-off, gets the drop, pulls it back for McKenzie, then loses it. It's knocked down in front of the net. The bouncing puck comes over to McKenzie, head to Lacroix, and he can't get to it. So the Soviets, Yakушев took an elbow there from Johnny McKenzie. Here comes Lebedev racing into the corner. With Stapleton going over to cover him, he does, and takes the puck away from him. Jerry Cheevers takes a poke at it as the puck was lying loose back of the goal. Stapleton takes a look. He sees Hull flying down that left wing. He tries to give him that left wing pass. It's onside because it was touched. Hull takes it into the corner and holds it there for the whistle. Andre Lacroix is good on the face-off, so they'll like to have them down in that zone, particularly when he try to pull that one back for Bobby Hull to get his shot away. Meantime, Coach Billy Harris goes to the complete change. Backstrom goes to center. Gordy and Mark Howe with Schmier and Smith back on the defense. Puck went right around the legs of the defenseman, Rick Smith, and now it goes down into Canadian territory with Gordy Howe racing in after it. Back of his own goal, he feeds that pass on the right wing to Paul Schmier. Schmier is a good puck carrier. He goes into center ice. He's knocked off balance by the Russian player Kapustin. Back comes Mikhailov on the right side, being shouted over there by Gordy Howe, and Howe has him tied up. Off the boards, but not out. Russians still have control. Here's Mark Howe bumping with the Soviet player. Here comes Ralph Backstrom, one-on-one, getting set. He shoots, and it's wide. Mikhailov at center ice, number 18. Over to Anison at the Canadian blue line, and he's offside. Very rare thing to see the Russians go offside, and yet that's the thing that hurt the Canadian team so much here last Tuesday night. Every time they'd start to organize an attack, they were so eager and so anxious they were getting 1 and 2 men offside. Bernier's line is out there now against Petrov, and it's taken by Tremblay. Tremblay over on the left wing with Tardif. Tardif back to Houle. Houle has trouble with holding it with his skate. And it's Xarlamov. Xarlamov over to Petrov, and he loses control. And Houle is hit there by Bernier. Bernier still has control of it. Bernier works his way to the corner. Puck slides loose into the corner. Now it's back out to the line. It's being held. Here's where he takes a shot, then try to slide it through. Instead of drilling it, it's back again. He shoots. Oh, what a save by Tretjak. And Serge Bernier, he'll lie awake all night wondering why these shots don't go in.
This is his fourth excellent opportunity. Look at Houle, sees the puck. Get it back to Bernier. Look at right on his stick. Look how quick he lets it go. He takes the look, lets it go right away. And Tretjak with the glove hand makes just a great save. That's the third time tonight he's robbed Bernier. The line has played exceptionally well.
Bernier, I think, has been robbed more often in the series than any other player.
Here it comes again from another angle. Kept in by JC. There's the big shot. Tried to slide in front of the net. Now look at it come back to him. Look at the hole. There is the hole up high, and he was going for it.
Buddy Howe's shot from the blue line is high, and it comes out on the left wing. Back after it.
Far and Bernier over to Tardif, too far. Cıganков stops at his own blue line. A pass ahead knocked down by Houle. He's in his own zone. Up on the wing is stopped by Cıganков. Into the corner against Marty Howe. Yakушев on the other side. Yakушев centered it. And Tremblay covered up for Canada. Put it on the boards for Bernier. Jean Houle coming out with Marty Howe at center, in with Tardif. Tardif didn't see the pass, and Lebedev for Russia ahead to Shadrin.
He is stopped. Poole finding some skating room on the right wing. Coming back for Canada. Up over the line with Tardif, and it's broken up in front of the net by Цыганков. Then cleared by Shadalov down the ice. J.C. Tremblay coming up to center. For Tardif. Tardif was given a bump at the blue line. Here's Hull getting in front, and Bernier fanned on the chance in front of the net. Pass ahead offside was Lebedev. Up over center ice, so it's called back. Now Цыганков and Tardif have something going. That's quickly erased as they both go off on a change. They're nearing the 5-minute mark of the third period. 4-2, Russia leading. It was 2-1 at the end of the first period. And Canada was outscored, same margin, in the second. Long pass, stopped by Stapleton at center ice. Vikulov looking for that one. Ricky Lee stick handles up to center. Barges down the right wing with McGregor on his left in front of the net. Now Lee. Back to the blue line. Frank Mahovlich trapped it. Tried to give it to Lee again and failed. Lutchenko's pass stopped by Stapleton. At center ice, Kapustin back to his own blue line. Got a relay pass. Chopped it into the zone. Cheevers comes out of the net, though, and cleared it back of the goal. Cheevers, a pass up on the wing for Henderson. It went by him. Frank Mahovlich couldn't reach it, and the Russians in control again. Vikulov in the center ice area. A pass ahead for Anison. He turns back. Now over on the other wing, Kapustin stick handled by Lee. Anison took a shot. Got it again in front of the goal. And Lee was on the spot that cleared to Mahovlich with Henderson with him. Mahovlich going in. They call it offside on Henderson at the Russian blue line. The Soviet team using three forward lines and two men, Kuznetsov and Bodunov, are on the bench. Mальцев was injured in the second period. He has not reappeared. In fact, he isn't even on the bench. So it's three complete units that they have out there. They're going to try and maintain this 2-goal lead.
Schmier poked it ahead for Bobby Hull, and he comes back in his own zone to Smith. With Lacroix coming up with Hull and McKenzie. But Gusev has the pass from Lacroix. Gusev ahead to Xarlamov. He circles near his own blue line. Poked it ahead. Paul Schmier knocked it down, gave it to Hull. Hull couldn't reach it. McKenzie at his own blue line stopped it, but Petrov was called offside anyway. And a face-off coming up outside a Canadian line. One of the Canadian fans with a cowbell at the far side apparently had it taken away from him, and he got it back again. Just gave it a jingle. That brings some whistles from the Russian fans. And now here's Mihайлов getting a break, and a slow shot is wide of Jerry Cheevers' stick side. He was in very quickly, picking off a loose puck in front of the goal. Now McKenzie coming up with Lacroix. Lacroix over the line for Hull, but it didn't work. Petrov gets out across the blue line. McKenzie pushed him off the puck. Xarlamov going in with Mihайлov, and Schmier sliding on the ice stopped the pass. Bobby Hull can't find any room to get going. A pass to Lacroix, and Lacroix's pass again on a Russian stick. Schmier lost it 2-on-1. Petrov going in with Mihайлov to Petrov. And one pass too many went by Petrov in front of the Canadian goal. Here's McKenzie coming out. He has some room to center ice. McKenzie into Bobby Hull. And that's stopped by Mihайлov, who cleared it down the ice. And the Russians are just content now with a 2-goal lead and are checking furiously. Nearing the 8-minute mark of the third period. Hull again. Doesn't find any room. And Shadrin brings it in. Shadrin on the left wing with Yakушев. He was stopped. Howe lost it. Shadrin again a pass. And Cheevers stopped that shot. Now Shadalov let it go over on the other side to Lebedev. He's stopped by Schmier. Vasilev back to Shadalov, and he fanned on his shot. Three men break out for Canada. Gordie Howe down the wing. Up over the line, had it poked away by Shadalov, and Shadrin seats it over to Lebedev. It went by him. It was a high pass. Marty Howe with 1:20 left before the middle of the period when they'll stop play and change ends, and Gordie Howe comes out. He comes to center ice. Howe's pass in on the wing. Mark Howe has to wait for team members to get back on side. Gordie trying to help him. It doesn't work. Lebedev brings it in for Russia. He fell down as he spun around, went off balance. Now it's
Markow up with a shot, stopped by Цыганков. He has the rebound, centered it. Shadrin is covering up in front. Markow in the corner. Hit Backstrom with a pass. Marti Howell let it go. That went off the leg and went wide. Цыганкov against Gordy and Markow, and they get a whistle for a face-off in the Soviet zone.
4-2 hockey game. Team Soviet in the lead, and let's pause briefly for station identification.
On the face-off, it comes back for Vikulov near the blue line. He has to back up again with Tardif watching him. Now along the boards, Anison ahead to Vikulov. It's fed into the corner a second time. Anison over for Lutchenko. Out to center ice, and Ricky Lee stopped it at center. Now Tardif moving forward. Put it over on an open wing. Lutchenko has it at his own blue line for Vikulov. Up to center ice, Kапustin up over the line. Kapustin going in on goal. And a backhand shot was wide of the Canadian net, but he went speeding in all alone. Bull back with Tardif for Canada. Bull stick handles over the line. Bernier catching up. Bernier gets in front of the net. Oh, and that's 5 times tonight for Bernier all alone. He couldn't control it at the last second. Another shot hit Hull. And Bernier broke up a play just outside the blue line. Up at center ice, Tardif to Bernier. Bernier going in with Hull shooting. And Bernier takes the rebound as the first shot was deflected. Then Tюрин hangs onto it with a skate. And the play is called for a face-off in the Soviet zone. 14 seconds left before they change ends. So this is an important face-off. Canada trailing by 2 goals. 4-2. Frank Mahovlich with McGregor and Henderson. Schmier and Smith. Every man up inside the line. Jerry Cheevers, the goaltender, is over at the Canadian bench talking to the team doctor, Jerry Wilson. Something wrong with his left hand. He's showing it to Jerry Wilson now. Can't afford to lose Cheevers, that's for sure. The way he's been playing in this series, just superb hockey. He's okay, apparently, and is heading back to the net. Jerry Cheevers gets a hand from the Canadian fans down in that end, and we're set to go to the left of Tretьяк. Puck is cleared right away by Xarламов outside the line. Schmier in the center ice area shoots it ahead for Henderson. Henderson tried to go by Vasiliev and failed, and it's cleared to center ice again. There's the buzzer as Tretьяк stopped the long shot from Smith, and they'll change ends and go at it for the final 10 minutes.
The Soviet Union 4, Team Canada WHA 2. You're listening to Team Canada 74 on CBC Radio. Look at this. And Bob Cole at the Luzhniki Sports Palace in Moscow. A 4-2 hockey game advantage the Soviet Union as the Canadian contingent to our left and across the way setting up a chance, trying to inspire Team Canada to some scoring punch. Now here's Bob Cole.
And Schmier shoots one from center. It goes into the Russian zone. Henderson went behind the net after Gusev, who got the pass away. Mihайлов comes out across his own blue line. Hits center with a pass ahead to Petrov, to Mihайлов. His shot on the short side stopped by Cheevers. Mahovlich can't clear it. It's still in the zone where Petrov fed it back of the net. McGregor has it for Canada. McGregor on the board. Gave it to Schmier in front of the goal up to Mahovlich. Mahovlich in the center ice area again fed it to a Russian player, Xarламов. McGregor didn't see it. Xarламov pounced on it with Petrov going in. Shoot! Cheevers kicked that one out. And into the corner, Smith ran into Petrov. He's going to get a penalty. Petrov took a jolt from Smith. And he's pointing at Mahavlich now, Dombrowski. He's calling a slashing penalty. Don't tell me we're getting two of them.
I think he's going to put two men in there. He's got Smith on the first one. I'm not too sure it isn't Xarlamov that he got on Mahavlich. And I think that's just the way it is, Bob. So he called two on the one play.
Oh, that must have been a dandy slashing effort by Xarlamov if it warrants a call of a penalty, because slashing has been quite prevalent throughout this hockey game. But Smith is off. He got the elbow into Petrov, and Xarlamov is off for slashing Mahavlich.
Uncommon call there. Bang, bang, around a whistle. And it'll put the teams 5 aside. Face off in the Canadian zone.
And here it is. Lacroix got the draw. J.C. Tremblay coming out with Marty Howe. Marty Howe across his own line to center ice, up for Hull. Pass was tipped by Yakушев. Hull is in the corner, back of the goal. Can't control it. And Yakушев takes over for Russia. Coming out of his own zone, a long pass for Shadrin. Shadrin back to Yakушев, up over the line. He stops. Feeds it back again. They're just killing time now. The Russians, they're leading 4-2 with 8 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. At center ice, Shadrin moving it in. Shadrin gets set, goes back of the net with it, tried to center it, and Cheevers just put his glove on it and got a whistle for a face-off in the Canadian zone. So the fans on both sides now, Soviet side and Canadian side, have quieted down as they're just checking the game out. 4-2 is the score, Russia leading by the pair. And a face-off now to the right of Jerry Cheevers. Lacroix with Hull for Canada. Marty Howe and Tremblay. Back to the line. Cıgankov shoots. His shot went wide of the net. Cheevers moving on it, but he missed the goal. Tremblay coming out across the line. He's up at center. Took a long shot. Tretьяк gloved that. He'll hang on to it. And they get another face-off, but this time up to the Soviet zone to the left of Tretьяк.
On Saturday, we're on the air, CBC Radio Sports from Palace here in Moscow at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time with Game 7 of the set, and then Sunday right back again at the same time to complete the Soviet segment of the series.
From the face-off, Backstrom put off stride. Gordie Howe on the boards, tried to knock it loose. And Gordie Howe gave Shadrin a bit of a push. Shadrin pushed him back. Now they have some words. That doesn't develop much further. Howe put the elbow up at Shadrin. Shadrin put it back again. That's about it. The Russians are changing. Vikulov and Anison come out. They're 5 aside at the moment. Rick Smith and Xarlamov serving penalties. They have 53 seconds left. Backstrom with Gordie Howe, Rick Lee, and Stapleton. Face off to the left of Tretьяк. Backstrom got the draw, went after it, gave it to Howe. He didn't get the pass, and up to center ice. Vikulov stopped by Gordie Howe, who stole it, and Howe carries it back in his own zone. Out to Backstrom. Backstrom pushed it ahead for Howe. He's on the goal. Gordie Howe up across the line, stopping inside the blue line. Looks for somebody free. Gives it to Stapleton. Stapleton back of the net for Backstrom. Backstrom to Stapleton again. Cıgankov covering him. And Cıgankov takes over. Cıgankov ahead to Anison. 2-on-1 again. Vikulov on his left. Anison going into Vikulov. Set him up neatly, but he couldn't make contact. Now Stapleton ahead to Backstrom. He had a stick lifted by Anison. Gordie Howe couldn't stop Vikulov. Vikulov circles back to his own blue line. Comes up near center. Good move on Backstrom. The penalties are over. Vikulov got it into Xarlamov. He scores! coming out of the penalty box, broke in behind the defenseman, and the pass came up through everybody neatly, and he just tipped it in. 5-2, Russia. This game is coming to you from the Luzhniki Sports Palace in Moscow. Xarlamov from Nikulov at 13 minutes, and it's 5-2. Now Schmier in his own zone with Tardif. Coming out across the line, Schmier got the center ice, lugging it all the way. Schmier up over the line, still has it in the corner. All Schmier bumped by Vasiliev. Play goes right on, it comes back to Hull, up the blue line into Hull again, and then the Russians broke it up. Xarlamov looking for the lead pass. It didn't get there. He's offside, and the play is called.
Bob, at this point, it would appear that the Soviets, coming out of their defensive stance earlier in the period, that they got a little too much skate at this point. They seem to be able to blanket the Canadian team, and then when they do get an opportunity, Tretьяк has been stalwart in the Soviet net, and that penalty, after the twin penalties there to Smith and Xarlamov, sudden thrust, giving them that 5-2 lead.
Ernest bringing it in for Canada, got across the line, and that's all. Lebedev is coming back with Yakuşev on his left, Shadrin trailing. Lebedev in around the net, circles the goal, centered it, and Hull got in the way of the pass, made it up on the boards, and it's over the boards, into the crowd, down to our right, and to the left of Jerry Cheevers, and the play is stopped.
Coach Billy Harris sticking resolutely to the four-line system that he's employed, while the Soviet Union has gone to 3 complete units, and they seem to be outplaying Team Canada. They are outplaying Team Canada at this point.
So this is almost a must game for Canada, either a win or a tie, because if the Soviets win tonight, a win or a tie on Saturday, and the series has been won. Into the corner. In the Russian zone, they hold it on the board. Anderson checking on Цыганков and Shadrin. And a face-off coming up to the right of Tretьяк. Mahavlich with McGregor and Henderson, the forward line for Canada. Marti Howe and Tremblay. 4-2, Russia leading. McGregor got the draw. Hooked it to the side of the net for Henderson. He didn't see the pass. Yakuşev brought it out across the line. Henderson, or rather McGregor, broke it up. Gave it to Marti Howe. And the Russians get control again. Lebedev bringing it in. Lebedev over the line in front of the net. It escaped. Shadalov had his pass stopped by McGregor. Mahavlich couldn't clear it. Lebedev got it back to Yakuşev, was knocked down. And coming back is Marti Howe. Up with Frank Mahavlich. Mahavlich going in, dropping it back, and the Russians get a 2-man break. A third one is catching up. Yakuşev and Lebedev with Shadalov. Yakuşev right in. Cheevers went down and made the save on Lebedev. But they've been breaking in all alone in this period. 5-2 is the score. Russia out front by 3. Puck goes into Mahavlich. Out to the blue line. The Russians keep it in, and Marti Howe and Lebedev were high-sticking. There's a slashing penalty coming up. Marti Howe, I think, will be going off. Lebedev and Howe get the 6-up. Now Marti Howe wants to go at it. And this conduct penalty coming up to Marti Howe. But he wants to go at Lebedev. Now Lebedev is quite satisfied and skates away.
Well, Marty pushed the linesman, and the linesman, that's the Soviet linesman, Nikulsev, put the hand on the hip. Now Dombrowski is trying to get him there. Gordon Howe is over there trying to ventilate the subject. As Doug Robb, the Canadian linesman, is there. He took a jolt from Henderson along the boards and was injured a little.
But he's over there trying to cool out Father Gordon Howe. Mihайлов is there, and J.C. Tremblay is there. So Marti Howe will get 2 and 10. Wait a minute, the Russian gate has been opened, Fred.
Number 11, USSR.
Now we'll see if Lebedev has a penalty. He's still on the ice near the Soviet bench.
Number 10.
Well, I think there were the penalties called. Lebedev, yes, and Marti, and then Lebedev came up with the stick. Well, it looks like 2 apiece and 10 for Marti Howe. It's been a rather frustrating evening for the hockey players, to say the least. A 5-2 hockey game, and this game coming to you from the Luzhniki Sports Palace in Moscow. Fred Gambatti and Bob Cole as Marti Howe skates across to the penalty box on the far side. He'll have 2 and 10 with 4:56 remaining in the game. Canada trailing 5-2, and their outlook certainly not bright, as it's been uphill from the 25-second mark of the game when Mihайлов scored the first goal of the game, and at 2:43, Canada giving up a power play score by Vasilev, and since that time, the Soviets, their great speed, taking advantage of penalties, came back with another power play goal by Shadalov, which gave them a 2-goal lead again in the second period at 4-2. And Xarlamov, coming out of the penalty box, sped a pass from Vikulov, and at the 13-minute mark, it was 5-2. So, 3-goal deficit for Team Canada to pick up with less than 5 minutes to go. 15:04, these penalties, Marti Howe getting a minor and a misconduct, and Lebedev of the Soviets getting a minor penalty. So 5 aside, little repair job being done on the ice at the moment just inside Team Canada's blue line. Dombrowski supervising that bit of work. It's McKenzie. McKenzie seizes every opportunity to have a chat with an official in the series. Face-off just outside the Canadian blue line. Bobby Hull in his own zone. Hull winding up, gave it to McKenzie. McKenzie coming out. At center ice is Lacroix. Lacroix going in with McKenzie right in on goal. And he centered it, but nobody was there but Vasilev, and he played it down the ice. Team Canada moving back for it. And Bobby Hull coming out. This is a power play for Canada. Moving in is Lacroix. Lacroix tapped it to the goal mouth. They push at it, and the Russians get it away to clear it, with Mihайлov stopping at his own blue line. He is stopped by McKenzie, but got his pass away before he was hit. Petrov back to Vasilev. Vasilev up to Petrov again in the center ice area. They're killing a penalty now. Mihайлov went in for a shot, and he whistled it wide of Jerry Cheevers. Bobby Hull back in his own zone. He's around the net, starting out. Team Canada moving it out over the blue line. Extra man. It's Hull going in. A pass ahead to Hull. He didn't see it. Vasilev after him, and it's cleared by Mihайлov down the ice. Cheevers comes 35 feet out to play it by Petrov, but just barely. Then at center, Mihайлov. Back in his own zone to Lutchenko and Vasilev. Vasilev to Lutchenko again in the corner. Lutchenko shoots it down the ice as the Russians kill the time on the penalty. 28 seconds left in the penalty, and Hull going away again. At center ice, up over the line, Bobby Hull tried to do it himself. Tremblay stopped it at the blue line for McKenzie. McKenzie faked his shot, gave it to Lacroix, who fell down. Now it's a pass by Markow. Here's Lacroix to the side of the net. Back to Lacroix. They jam at it. McKenzie couldn't drive it in. Then he centered it. Again, Tretjak went down. It comes back to the line. Another drive right in front. And a scramble. Hull couldn't jam it across the blue line. Here's McKenzie. Oh, he tried to hit the top corner and just missed it. Team Canada all around the net, but can't get it in. Into the corner, Shadreen stopped by Lacroix, and the play is stopped. Lacroix and Tretjak are having some words now. A lot of traffic around the Russian goal, but nobody could get it by Tretjak. McKenzie tried to hit that top corner. You could see him pick it out, but he lifted it too high.
Just to sort out that penalty situation, Marti Howe got a 10-minute misconduct, and it was Lebedev with the high stick that got the 2 minutes, and that gave Canada the advantage there, and they had one good chance, but as Bob mentioned, that traffic around the net, just too much. Hull and Lacroix getting tangled up in there. They were inside the circular crease.
And 2 minutes and 41 seconds left. Russia leading by 3 goals, 5-2. The pass comes to center ice. Rick Lee at his own blue line. Over on this side for Mark Howe, going up with Gordie Howe in the clear. He shoots! And Tretjak made a nice stick save on that low shot by Howe. Mark Howe keeping it in. Gordie again loose. Mark Howe shooting. And stopping that one was Lutchenko. The pass coming to center. Vikulov going in with Kapustin. He took the shot, deflected into the crowd as it went off the stick of Rick Lee, and it went up over the glass into the crowd. 2:09 left to play in the hockey game. Russia in complete command now, leading by 3. It was 2-1 at the end of the first period and 4-2 at the end of the second period. Xarlamov, having served a penalty, came on the ice and got a break in front of Cheevers all alone. Vikulov setting him up at 13 minutes, and that was the 5th goal. Russians changing again on the defense. Shadalov and Tsыганков. The big line of Xarlamov and Petrov is broken up. Shadrin is at center ice. Xarlamov out on the left wing with Lebedev on the right side. Lebedev took a shot, again deflected over the glass into the crowd. So Mihайлov and Petrov have lost Xarlamov on this ship. He's out on the left wing with Shadrin and Lebedev, so Yakушев is probably ailing a game. And there's a pass ahead for Cardiff too far down the ice. It'll be icing. It went over the goal line, and it's icing as Cardiff could not catch up with it.
Yes, it may have been a costly victory here. Bob Mальцев, as I mentioned, did not come back to the bench for the third period. Yakушев is sitting there almost by himself, and Coach Kalagan had used 3 lines. Now he has the shuffle act going with Yakушев apparently hurt again.
And, of course, it could be, with a 3-goal lead this late in the game, he'll be resting. Yakушев, who has a damaged right knee, torn ligament, suffered in Canada, and missing the first game here, but he's playing tonight. But you can see, not up to par, not 100%. Lebedev lost it in his own zone. Shadrin cleared it out on the boards to center ice. Vikulov moving in. Vikulov lost it against Schmier. And Schmier back of the net for Cardiff and Bernier. Cardiff has the puck to Bernier. Bernier couldn't get by Shadrin. Rick Smith goes back for it with 1.5 minutes left in the hockey game. 5-2 Russia leading. And they'll take control of the series with this win tonight. Schmier put it by Tsыганков, but it hopped over the boards near the Canadian bench, and the play is stopped with 1:19 left to go.
Taking a look down at the 2 doctors, and Dr. Mark Young, I noticed him with a cut underneath an eye and a big black eye, and I asked him if he got the number of the fellow that hit him, and he said no, it was the puck that went flying over the boards, and he needed medical attention.
They've got a face-off coming up in the center ice area. Frank Mahovlich with Henderson and McGregor, Lee and Stapleton, Petrov, Mihайлov, and Xarlamov. Petrov at center ice. Pass it back to Gusev. Gusev coming up near the center ice red line to Petrov again. They'll just hang on to the puck if they can now and kill the last 1.5 minutes of the hockey game. Just about a minute left now as it comes down the ice to Mihайлov. Knocked away by Henderson. Less than a minute to go in the game. 55 seconds. 5-2 Russia. So this one is in the bag for the Soviets. And the next game Saturday, the last game Sunday. Stapleton comes up over the line with Henderson, back to Mahavlich. Mahavlich put it on the boards, and Vasilev out to Gushev. Gushev to center. Xarlamov stops it up the blue line with 35 seconds left. Gushev takes over. Gushev up to center ice. He comes back again. Hit McGregor with his pass. Mihайлов tossed it back to Petrov. Petrov over on the other side to Gushev.
Shortage of space on this planet.
Lee. Oh, Rick Lee starts fighting with Xarlamov. And they've got a real old Donnybrook going out there now, and Paul Smear is squared off with somebody, and well, this is what we were afraid would happen earlier, and what the officials will do about this, we have no idea, but Rick Lee started with Xarlamov. They've had a feud going all night long, and there is one question that becomes patently obvious, Howie. How are we going to pick the most gentlemanly player at the end of the series?
The two goalies are standing there talking to each other, and the substitute goalies were almost at it.
Well, Don McLeod went into the fray. He went in to pull Vasiliev off because Vasiliev had jumped on into a one-on-one situation, and he went in and pulled him off, and then he skated away. Now, what's going to happen? The scoreboard is so full, and the place is so loud, we're just wondering how we're going to get any information as to what the outcome of this might all be. It was a rough game. It was a very chippy hockey game. There was a lot of spearing going on. There were a lot of things that had happened during the game. Xarlamov is the first to leave. He goes right to the dressing room. And the players are... They're not even... The Russian players are refusing to shake hands. Gordie Howe is shaking hands with one or two of them. The Russians are being called back to the ice to shake hands. The Canadians are remaining out there on the ice to shake hands, but the Russians have gone to the dressing room. I see Shadalov, Vasiliev, Tretchak, Vikulov, Cıgankov. They have remained out there to shake hands with the Canadian team, but the rest of them have refused to shake hands, and I don't ever recall seeing this happen in international hockey before. And as they turn to skate away, the officials still remain out there at center ice. Now, it's difficult to describe it. It's hard to explain it. It's hard, totally impossible to rationalize it. But it's a group of hockey players who are high-strung. They, of course, are very nervous and very exhausted. Tempers have flared all night. A lot of players took a lot of shots at each other. There was a lot of spearing going on, which, in my opinion, next to kicking, is the worst infraction of all in hockey. And there was far too much of that let go. The officials, I thought, as they said at the beginning of the game, that Dombrowski would fill the penalty box early, and this kind of thing would not happen. But now I see that Gordie Howe is being brought back out, along with, well, they're going to choose the two most valuable players in the game. Gordie Howe is one of them, but everybody has left the official area, so I don't know whether they're just giving up or not. I think what they're trying to do is they're getting Gordie Howe out, and the Soviet player Mihайлov are coming out to receive the Olympic coins, the commemorative Olympic coins, as a gesture on behalf of Ron Roberts, the president of the WHA Players Association. Gordie Howe and Mihайлov are now going out. I don't know whether we're going to be able to get Gordie Howe over to our television camera over there. They're calling him over, but there's such a group of militia down there that I don't know if even Gordie Howe can fight his way through that crowd to try to get to our camera. I don't know whether we'll be able to get him there or not. He's trying to make his way through to talk to Don Chevrier, and we might get some indication of this as to what happened or what the final result was. Here comes Gordie. I see they also have Gordie Howe is now down there with Don. Okay, Don.
All right, Johnny. We're here with Gordie Howe, and the whistling's going on, and, well, what can you say? I mean, it seemed to be building up throughout the series, and tonight the tempers exploded. It all went crazy.
No excuses, but the referee's atrocious. The rules state anytime you drop your glove, take a couple of whacks, it's 10 minutes. So we end up with an extra 2, and they score a goal. So that broke the game wide open. But still, the game is puck control, and they had it. We had it in the second. We had a real good shot that we tied up and looked like we were coming on strong and running a couple of penalties and all heck broke loose.
Well, back in Canada, the committees to end violence in hockey are blaming the Canadian style, but there's no doubt Gordie is, or the Soviets are dishing it out every bit as hard as you fellas were, if not more so.
Well, different than what we retaliate with the maybe the odd elbows or heavy body check, but what they don't see is there's quite a bit of kicking and an awful lot of hooking going on. And after a while, I know Coach Billy Harris is saying, now retain yourself. And I know Team 72 said, retain yourself. A lot of guys I talked to, he said it's going to be hard to do, and that's right. It's impossible. But actually, I'm not going to cry about it. They have a tremendous team, and we have to be at our best to beat them, and we haven't been the last couple of games.
Why not? What's gone wrong?
I don't know. I think just a fever pitch. It's something which I was told about, and I couldn't explain it, that when the national anthem was played in Quebec, you sang with so much pride, and you stood there and you're just shivering in your boots. The puck felt like a 5 pound. And I think the adrenaline has slowly leaked a little, and we have to pump ourselves up because all we can do now is break even, and that wouldn't be too bad for a team that didn't have, really, as we mentioned, didn't have much of a chance. And after you watch them practice, you start to believe it for a while. But I still think we have a good chance of tying this thing up and coming home with our heads high and a very proud feeling.
Gordie, congratulations on what's been an outstanding series for you so far.
Thank you, and for those people who are backing us up, don't give up. We'll try our best.
All right, Gordie. Let's go back upstairs now to Johnny Esau and Howie Meeker. Okay, we're back down here with Jean-Claude Tremblay. What could you say about it?
Well, let's face it, we lost the game. I don't think we should be happy about it. And I'm pretty sure that most of the guys are not happy about the refereeing. We didn't have the break there, and let's face it, they scored 2 goals, and probably that made the difference, I would say.
The officiating, its inconsistency must frustrate a hockey player, seeing things go by that aren't called and should be.
Well, let's face it, it's on both sides, and I think he missed a few on their side, and I wonder why, because even if he's a Russian, he's got to call them on both sides. I don't know why.
Well, how does this team feel now? Can you and some of the veterans like Gordie settle them down and get them ready for the next 2 games here?
Well, I hope so. Let's face it, we've got to stop getting stupid penalties like we're getting and start to play hockey like we did at the end of the first period. I really thought that we could have come with a great game tonight. And they scored 2 fast goals, and after that we got the lives. And in the second period, we didn't do too good, and neither in the third. So I think we got to come up with 2 big games for the rest of the series.
It Did you find the Soviets, as soon as you got to Moscow, the very first period Tuesday, were responding physically? In other words, they were eager to play a rough, tough kind of game?
Well, that's the Tuesday. That was the toughest game I ever played in my life. Geez, they were hitting, and we were, and there were lots of tricks going on the ice, and we got to play with it, and let's hope we came up a winner.
Physically, in terms of playing the rough game, how do they compare with all the clubs you've played against over the years in the NHL and the World Hockey Association?
It's not really the way they hit. It's really the way they play tricks on you most of the time. I know they hit a couple of guys tonight, like the number 19 hit Serge Bonnier when he was hit. He should have a penalty, and he never got one. And when you expect a hit from somebody and you get it from somebody else, it's not the same, really.
What about the kicking and the other things that I'm sure you've never seen before in hockey?
Well, I haven't been kicked myself, but they've been hooking me and all those things, you know. But now I'm expecting them, and I can avoid them most of the time, really.
I talked to Gordy about this. I'm not saying the rough stuff, the penalties, are any kind of real excuse, but it has been a factor. But, JC, it seems the Russians have been sharper, they've been skating better, their combinations are better ever since they got home, and something happened to our team, it seems, between the time we left Vancouver and Tuesday here.
Well, I think we missed a bit of training in between the series, and that shows there in the first two games, I think. Let's hope that those two games are going to do us some good for the next two.
Let's hope so. Congratulations again on your personal outstanding play.
Thank you.
Now let's, again, go back out to Johnny.
Well, there were a number of stars in the hockey game, a number of reasons why the game went the way it did, Howie, but I think the most impressive thing that happened all night was the play of Xarlamov, particularly the goal that he scored that made it 5-2. It was the final score of the night. He was as professional as you want to see when he's completely covered by two men and are still able to split the two, go in off balance, get a shot, and beat a guy like Jerry Cheevers.
Well, certainly he had that goal coming, Johnny. He did everything all night long except score a goal. He set up a couple. He was in one time and had Cheevers beat, bounced it off the post, and another time just shot wide. He's just a great little hockey player. But he had lots of help tonight. I was really impressed with that little Shuttle-off. He's no bigger than half a minute, but boy, he's got a heart like a watermelon. Tough and rough, and Kapustin just played a great game, and I think as well as Cheevers played, the fellow at the other end, Tretchik, came up with 4 or 5 key saves. For Team Canada, well, Bernier had enough chances. Tretchik robbed them twice. Once he didn't make a good play, and another time he hit the crossbar. Could have had 4 goals with any luck at all. Young Rajan Hu played extremely well, as did Cheevers. Here's the play that comes up here. Now watch Mikhailov make the key pass to Xarlamov. And Xarlamov come out of the penalty box on the fly. It just took him one stride, and he was in top speed. There, he avoided the check there. That's Mikhailov. Now look at the great play. Slipped it through the middle, and that little guy went in and put it in. Now there's the pass. Look, there he missed the check. If the check is completed by Backstrom there, no goal. Now, it's passed over to Xarlamov going through the middle. And as Johnny said, just splits the defense. We get a stick on him enough to pull him down, but we don't control his stick, and he controls the puck, and in it goes, and that's the one that killed us. Well, we'd like to remind everybody that Game 7 and Game 8 on Saturday and Sunday on the two CTV and CBC networks will be at 11 o'clock. That's Eastern time. So check the time in your area. It's an hour and a half earlier than has been coming through here. So we would like you to check you at that time. And now, that's the story then from Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. This is Johnny Esau with Howie Meeker, along with Don Chevrier downstairs, hoping that you've enjoyed the telecast, the parts that we're able to get through to you, and wishing you all a very pleasant good night.
Game 6 of the Canada-Soviet Series, live from Moscow. Brought to you by Toronto Dominion Bank, the bank where people make the difference. By Gulf Oil Canada Limited, its dealers, agents, and distributors across Canada. By Carling O'Keefe, brewers of O'Keefe Ale and Old Vienna Lager Beer. This is the CTV Television Network.